SAS Analytics Pro now gives you more flexibility in how you work. In addition to SAS Studio and SAS Enterprise Guide, you can connect and write code directly in Visual Studio Code using the SAS extension. In this demonstration, you'll learn how to run and debug SAS code, connect to SAS Analytics Pro, and navigate the VS Code interface. Please note that your environment may look slightly different depending on your installation. Let's get started. Let's begin by running a simple SAS program. Select File, New File, SAS File. This sample program reads the SAS help.cars table, calculates average miles per gallon, and prints a subset of the data along with summary statistics. Notice the code is color-coded just like in other interfaces. As you type, suggestions appear, allowing you to code more efficiently. Let's run the entire program. Looking at the status bar at the bottom, we can see there are several errors and warnings related to the program. The Output tab in the bottom pane displays the log information, while the Problems tab lists the specific errors and warnings, such as a misspelling of data, a missing semicolon, and an unrecognized keyword. Clicking on any error or warning takes you directly to the corresponding line of code. You can use the Problems panel as a to-do list when you are debugging your code. When you correct an error in your code, open the Quick Fix options for that error by clicking the icon next to the error and select Ignore Current Position to remove the error message from the list. Users can also choose to ignore warnings, which clears all warnings from the Problems panel and the code editor, or you can choose to ignore errors or ignore all problems. Let's fix these issues and rerun the program. The code runs with no errors or warnings, and we see a result tab appear in the editor. Now, let's highlight and run the proc print step by itself. Notice a second result tab appears. Since Visual Studio Code is a generic framework where users may have multiple plugins running concurrently, the interface may not appear exactly how users are used to in a workspace owned by a single application. For example, by default, VS Code creates a new tab every time a new set of results is created. However, you can change this setting from the SAS extension page. On the left side of Visual Studio Code, we see the activity bar, which gives you access to different parts of your VS Code environment. The Extensions view allows you to install and manage your VS Code extensions, such as the SAS extension. Inside the SAS extension page, you can change the color theme and manage the extension. You can also view details about the extension, including features and recent updates. You can also directly access SAS documentation. Finally, from the SAS extension page, you can customize SAS settings. For example, how results are displayed and log options. From the SAS extension page, select the Settings icon, Settings, and check Reuse Single Panel to display results. You can also change the setting to not show the results side by side with the code, but as a separate tab instead. Now, let's go back and rerun the code and view the results. Now we see all results in a single tab and the screen is no longer split. This code not only created a report, but it also created a data table named My Cars stored in the work library. From the SAS pane, you can access any files on your SAS server and view your SAS libraries. Navigate to the work library and open My Cars. The table viewer shows the data along with an icon indicating each column type. You can also sort the table in ascending or descending order, or view the column properties. You can also see the properties of the table by right-clicking the table name in the SAS pane. You can use the refresh icon to refresh the SAS server files or libraries to see the latest updates. Users can also create modern SAS notebooks, which provide a more flexible and user-friendly way to work with SAS code. SAS notebooks support cells of type Markdown, SAS code, SQL code using proc SQL syntax, and Python. You can run cells individually or run a complete notebook and rearrange cells as needed. SAS Notebooks make it simple to combine documentation, code, and output into a single interactive workspace. I was already connected to SAS Analytics Pro when I ran my previous code. Now, let's take a step back and talk about how you can connect to SAS Analytics Pro when you first open Visual Studio Code. To establish a connection to SAS Analytics Pro, enter Ctrl-Shift-P to open the command palette for VS Code. Then type SAS Add New Connection Profile and select it from the list. Next, enter a connection name. I'll use Analytics Pro, but the connection name can be anything you'd like. Now press Enter. Then choose the SAS 9.4 Remote IOM connection. Now enter the name of the SAS 9 server and press Enter. Next, enter the port number and press Enter. I am using the out-of-the-box default port number 8591. However, the owner or administrator of the A-Pro container has control over what the port should be. Then enter your SAS server username and press Enter. Next, navigate to the SAS pane from the activity bar, click Sign In, and enter the password to connect to your SAS server. Soon there will be a web-based version of VS Code and the SAS extension inside the Analytics Pro container, so you can use a web browser and URL very similar to how you are now using SAS Studio hosted inside the Analytics Pro container. We've already explored the extensions view and SAS pane from the activity bar. Now let's talk about what the other icons on the bar represent. The Explorer view lets you connect to folders on your local machine or SAS server. This is where I opened my SAS notebook previously. Once connected, you can browse your files, view outlines, and see a history of file changes, such as when the file was last saved. I can see an outline of my code here, allowing me to easily jump to the section I need. This is especially useful for long programs. The Search view in VS Code searches through text files in your current workspace to find and replace text. Source Control integrates with Git, letting you manage repositories and commits directly within VS Code. Depending on your setup, you may see other VS Code extensions listed in the activity bar as well. The toolbar at the top gives you quick access to things like creating, opening, and saving files. The search bar, officially called the command palette, lets you search for and run commands, open files, or access settings, all without navigating through menus. In the top right corner, you'll find icons that let you split the editor, change layouts, toggle the bottom panel, or close files. The secondary side pane on the right is where extensions can show additional information. When having enabled GitHub Copilot, it will typically show the chat window there. GitHub Copilot is an AI-powered coding assistant integrated into Visual Studio Code. It provides code suggestions, explanations, and automated implementations, although it is better suited for other programming languages like R and Python. Soon, SAS via Copilot will be available as a VS Code extension, which will provide better SAS-specific suggestions than GitHub Copilot does currently. And that's it. You've seen how to run SAS programs, connect to SAS Analytics Pro, and navigate the VS Code interface. Now you're ready to dive in and make the most of the SAS extension.